Oh, that's terrible.
The girls are playing tonight. The game. So that's Lauren is playing right now.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he was gonna come.
All the
I'm not in the
administrative
game,
stuff
so
that was
close
going
or
on.
not. He said it's 3-0.
Nights,
It's 3-0.
180 from 3 to 2 nights.
No more drugs and guns for you.
That's why.
At least not as much drugs and
Not
guns.
as much,
Good.
not as much.
Okay,
So
We're
far,
live.
so good, right?
These are bigger.
we're live, Jerry.
Okay. We just want to wait till our mayor gets in.
Oh,
It's twinsies or what?
You do this all the time.
oh my God, that's
Maybe you guys need to message each
I
other
think
before
so.
the meeting.
suspicious. It's funny.
I will take right on that. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Hey. That isn't the kettle. Wrong. In your heart, you know you're right. You're here.
Thank you and welcome to the Borough Park Summit Council Special Meeting, October 29th, 2025 at 7 p.m. In attendance, we have Ms. Lopez.
Present.
Ms. Semro,
Present.
Ms. Basalega,
Present.
Mr. Guzza.
Here.
Mr. Mitchell.
Here.
Mayor Kelly.
Here.
Junior Council Member James Mitchell.
Here.
Jean Hallinan.
Here.
Bob Shields.
Here.
Solicitor Krolak.
Present.
And our junior council member is missing. First item on our agenda is our public comment. We don't have anything for work session at all.
No, we just go to public comment if there's any.
Anyone that would like to address council, if you'd like to step up to the podium and just put your name and whatever we can help you with. You're on our agenda.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait.
Mhm. Yeah, you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Under discussion, that's our police car value. We have it up for sale now. And Jen was able to get a figure on the value of it.
The chief did. The chief went
The chief
to
got the
Mr. Shermack,
information.
pardon me, and that's where they got the assessment of around 7,000.
Right,
So council asked for the number and
right.
that's where we're at.
So, I know the fire department has an interest in requiring this vehicle too.
Yes, we do.
And, we have we're just going over all our numbers and everything now. We're in the middle of our budget and everything. But, we would definitely love to see this vehicle go to our own fire department here.
Thank
It's-
you. We
it's
would greatly
something,
appreciate that.
with you have the paramedics now. And you've gone through a lot of expenses on your own in that, and any way that we can help you in that department. That's what we're delving into also. So
Okay, thank you.
just wanted to let you know that.
Also, this is Carrie. I had an opportunity to speak to Solicitor Kroyak regarding I guess, the sale or noticing of personal property. And under the Borough Code, if the property is over $2,000, you generally have to give it notice and sell it to the highest bidder. But there is an exception under the Borough Code for volunteer fire companies. So we
Right.
don't have to do anything. We can do anything we want with that car. If we
Exactly.
want to give it to the fire company, we can. We could sell it to the fire company if we don't have to notice it and we don't have to sell it to the highest bidder. So I had some concerns at our last meeting about that. And that I was able to speak to him and look into the Borough Code, and there is an exception for volunteer fire companies within the municipality.
Right.
and we would be okay doing that.
I mean, I don't know if this will help at all. We are a 501c3, so I don't know if you can take it off your taxes, so to speak, as a donation to a 501c3 entity. I don't know how that would work with the borough to the fire department. But we are a registered charity, so.
I have to look at that, because if it is a volunteer fire department, I'm not sure how that would operate. I can take a look at that and see. But the borough council is able to either sell or give it to the fire department without noticing, posting, or selling the highest bidder. So however council wants to proceed on that matter at next hearing.
We got the police car through a grant, is that correct?
Yes, I believe so, correct? Yes.
Okay, so I don't see why we just couldn't give it to them. I mean, we paid nothing for it. We should be able to give it to them for nothing.
Well, that's what we're gonna.
Oh, okay.
get our
Legally,
teeth
you're
in.
able to do that.
That's- Definitely see what direction we can go to
Okay.
make it happen for you.
You have my numbers. Let me know what you decide.
No problem there.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the chief who's going to address council.
I'm the president of the fire company, not the chief, just to clarify. The chief has a tour over at the firehouse tonight, so there's a bunch of kids that came in late.
Sorry about
So,
that.
I'll be very brief. I'm sorry, I ran out of the contracts. Somebody can maybe make you a copy. I presented everybody with a contract of our fire and EMS proposal
Right.
for the 3 years.
Right.
So in a nutshell, what we're proposing is since you guys don't know what's gonna happen with the assessment, what we're proposing is the first year, 2026, we're proposing that we keep it at the 2025 contribution rate of 1.5 mils based on 2025.
Right, right.
And then maybe in the second half of 2026, we'll come back to the borough and then we can discuss. By then you'll have your numbers all crunched and everything.
Exactly.
And then we can discuss 2027 and 2028.
I think that sounds fair with us and with you. too.
This, like I said, you don't know what a mill is gonna come out to be, and if you, in the
Yeah,
contract, if you'd given us 1.5 mils, it potentially, it could be a lot based on what's
Sure.
gonna transpire.
Janice, what is it? Do we give 2.25? I thought, is that for the EMS too? Is it 1.5 for fire and then
I think
0.75?
Part of that millage goes for the fire hydrants. It's all kind of blended in.
I know you can max out at 3, right? So it's, so right now, my understanding is we were 2.25, but
Okay, yeah, I think you guys pay for the fire hydrant maintenance
right.
and some fuel.
Yes,
And I'm not sure what else is in that number.
fund, right, why am I
Workers'
thinking?
comp is, I think is,
Yeah, workers' comp is in there too.
Yes.
Uh. Yes, you know what, I'm trying to think of what else is in there, but, yeah, I mean, we have the fire fund at 2.25. But I'd wanna look into it more, so
Yeah.
I don't wanna give you the wrong.
like I said,
information.
we just want to make it so it's neat for you guys for this first year after this assessment thing.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
and then-
we've got, and I apologize, we've got the fuel, which we discussed, the fire hydrant utilities. And, let's see here. And just the workers' comp insurance
Mhm.
and the fire service we have in here, so that does make up our fire fund.
okay.
I appreciate that. So thank you very much.
So, yeah, that's it. So if anybody has questions, Jerry has my number.
Sure,
Um,
sure,
I know you guys are gonna have to do some number crunching, so
sure.
just give us a shout whenever you're ready.
I appreciate all you do for the community.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate you supporting us too, so it's nice to know that we have our municipality standing behind us.
Just a very tactical question. This is drafted as a 3-year agreement. Would it make sense for us to just do a 1-year agreement, given that the millage is gonna change, and then renew it next year with the updated 3-year term that has what will be a more permanent millage? Or you obviously will need to review this for us,
Right.
but is the way in which we would amend this and amend the millage, cut and dry enough that that's a non-issue? I'm just asking
Yeah,
to think what makes the most
there's
sense.
language in there that allows each party to come back to each other to discuss up to and including financial arrangements.
But whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I was thinking
I-
of
I
like a
just-
1-year
I-
deal and then maybe a 2-year deal, something like that, to give 3 years.
Yeah. I just went with the format and made it a 3-year deal, which we've always had, so.
Yeah, which normally makes sense. This is a once in a 50-year change that will,
Yeah,
that we'll be dealing with in the middle of the term, and that's why I asked.
And it's a matter of preference, so if you want to put an addendum in here to say it'll be, we can meet and discuss this to amend this contract pursuant to the millage
Yeah.
change, you could do that. You can do a 3-year, or you could just do a 1-year, whichever everyone's agreeable with.
Because I actually don't see, it does specify well, it specifies maybe we just need to look at 3.a and make that very clear that for 2026, it will remain 1.5, but we will, make an amendment to this with the 2027 and 2028 millage by mutual written consent or something, so that it's very clear that that is subject to change.
We said earlier before, we were just chatting at the meeting that we don't know what we don't know what
Right.
1.5.
Right, we don't know what that will amount to.
Right.
Right, okay. And maybe that's the best way to do it, is then we have a 3-year term like we normally do, but we've got the mechanism built in to adjust.
sure,
Correct.
To ensure the
Yeah.
knowledge is accurate for the preceding years.
okay.
All right.
Very good.
If you're okay with that, we are also.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks so much.
So Gary has my number.
You got it.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks again.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. The next one's, Greg Kozar.
Good evening, everyone. It's my 2-year visit back to the council. So, the Ryder Cup, I come and go. So I'm here to answer questions or, I'm your appointed representative to the Abington Joint Rec Board. I am not the most active member, but I'm also not the least active member. I'm there just to make sure that things are done correctly and, monies are spent correctly and projects are done and trying to grow the park. So,
Greg, I think everyone just got this cover letter
Exactly, right.
today and probably has not had a chance to read it yet. So maybe you can just kind of give the highlights for where we're at and what we're asking.
So, some of the board members went over to the Lackawanna County and approached them because the park is utilized by such a diverse group geographically. So a lot of people use the park. And so I think it was Mr. Bill Rissy approached the Lackawanna County and suggested that, since they fund so many parks in Lackawanna County, why isn't Hillside part of that? And apparently that was met favorably, and a commitment for $40,000 was a year was from what I said, agreed upon. I don't think anything's been set in stone yet, but that's going to be the framework that we're going to be moving forward with. Fortunately, with that, we're able to offset any increase or requests for increases and from you folks, from the municipalities that actually own the park. So this is as new to me as it is you, but from what I understand, this is just really good news that in 2026, we won't be asking any increase.
Right.
One of the caveats to this, though, I believe the park wants to ensure that there's a regular 3% increase year by year going forward. So there's a few other loopholes that we have to discuss, and with the term of the park, with the charter coming up in 27, we'll be able to address some of those as well. But I don't know if this is good or bad, but you know, to expect a 3% increase year in and year out, because they'll be getting one too. And so we're gonna spread that across all of our partners and municipalities. I think it's a great opportunity to have the county backing us as well. And it's much needed.
Right.
I can just add to that, that last year, and this is in the letter as well, but last year, the increase was 5%. That the park passed on to all the municipalities. A couple of years ago, I think it was 10%. So the park's been trying to catch up and really get to a good spot in the budget, and have been passing on much larger increases to municipalities to try to do that. But that was a very long game, and so this is kind of a game changer for the park to really put our budget in a good spot, and now to be able to
Yeah,
have, you know, more inflation tied kind of adjustments year on year going forward for all of the parties. So that
So essentially level set our
Exciting.
budget.
well said.
very true.
So we're excited. If you have questions regarding the park or, you know, what I've seen going on there, you know, please let me know. And if I don't have the answer, I'm happy to come back with the answers for you.
Okay, well, I know you have a lot of volunteers that do a wonderful job at that part too, so.
There's some amazing people on the board and people that
Yes.
volunteer in general that give up their time, and I'm constantly amazed at how much time they put in.
Exactly.
It makes me feel a little guilty sometimes, but it's a really good group of people.
Well, we just want to see it continue because you just keep moving forward
Yeah.
and we appreciate that too.
Yeah.
So,
Nothing else?
any other questions? Okay, well, I guess you covered your bases there. and-
Okay. Well, lastly, I hope that we are having our reception, holiday reception on November 9th, which is next Sunday. It's a little earlier this year because we know how the holidays get a little crazy, but it is a nice time to meet some of these rock stars that we have work in the park, and then, you know,
Exactly.
ask questions and see, you know, what we see with the park. And again, the charter is a year away, but you know, these are things that we need to start thinking about for that transition as well.
Yeah,
So I encourage, if you have an RSVP, please let us know. I heard the food there is outstanding.
and I would second that. It was very.
I have a little
good.
personal interest in that, so, but yeah, so hopefully we can, you know, come enjoy even 5-10 minutes, say hello, meet some people there. We appreciate when we have outside people coming in, because it makes us
Absolutely,
feel
yeah.
validated and, you know, we get to talk about what we want to do and what we're doing. So I hope to see you all there.
Absolutely, not a problem.
Okay,
Thanks, Greg.
thanks, guys. Have a
Thank
nice
you
day.
very much, sir. The last agenda is our budget. We have a copy of our budget. So,
Maybe I can kind of kick us off on this topic.
sure.
The finance committee, myself, Jerry, Bob have met at least twice now, I think, twice, maybe 3 times. To get the draft that you see in your packet to the point that it is. We've asked a lot of questions. We've cleaned up some things that didn't quite make sense and had Jen and Kevin Baum look into them. To get us to this point now where we need to make some decisions. So the budget in terms of the quality of the data that's going into it, I think is in a really good spot. Kudos to Jen and Kevin for doing a lot of cleanup to get us to this point. And Jen, maybe this is where you can kind of give the overview of what we need to consider, but we do have some work to do to actually balance these budgets. And so maybe we can run through those things.
Sure, so just starting with the general fund, we have a deficit of 71,177. I don't know if you want to just go through each one separately, but sewerage fund is 75,713. And lastly is the fire fund. We have a deficit of just under 35,000. So we have to discuss options that we have to make up this money.
And just another point, Jen, with our capital reserves, we began the year at $310,000. And I believe in the budget, we're going to be pulling out about $230,000 for the capital reserves and for the budget, correct?
If council decides to approve the wish list from the DPW, that's where we could end up. So that's not set in stone yet, deciding on what council wants to invest in.
And just the other thing, we do have some ARPA funds from the COVID for the stimulus, and we did look into that a little bit.
Yes, we did.
But that's unfortunately, that's generally used for broadband, water, sewer, and lost revenue from the COVID.
And the application had to be in, an application had to be in by December of 2024. So we could not apply for anything now.
But in the future, though, if we do have like a sewer project or a water project, could we use that, or is
No.
that money's gone? It's gone?
Correct.
Right. It's
It
not,
had to be in by December of 2024.
so that's gonna not be used in
That's-
any way, shape, or form.
Correct.
We did use a percentage of it. But
Now,
So that,
that was around $300,000 we can't use.
Correct.
yeah, we discussed last time when we looked at these budgets, what would be some of the options that we
Right.
have available to us
Mhm.
for how we will balance these budgets, and that was at the top of the list. If there was an opportunity, that would certainly help us, but there is not, is the
Right.
short answer,
Right.
to use those funds. So then, I think and you can help me with some of these details, but so the main options that I think we have available to us, to balance all of these budgets are obviously to either cut some expenses or to raise some revenues. The most obvious spot to cut expenses, if we want to go that route, is right now we have a total, I believe, of $500,000 allocated for paving. If we trimmed that to $350 in total, that would allow us to balance both the general fund budget as well as the sewer fund budget. So that would certainly be an option.
Correct.
And you can elaborate more on where we are with paving, because we cut last year's paving budget, and so
We did.
we would have to carefully decide that.
We would. We would have to make sure that the project that we were not able to finish this year because of issues that came up, nothing that we were able to foresee, we weren't able to finish Clark Avenue.
Was it Clark or,
Clark.
because yeah, it was Central or Grand or something, was the other street?
We did Grand and part of Nichols. Yep, and a good portion of Clark, but we had to stop to fix, there was a sewer problem and a stormwater issue.
And
So,
what was spent last year for the paving?
oh, I apologize.
If you don't know, that's.
I
okay. It was
apologize, I'm
just a-
not sure.
I think we
I
budgeted
put you
something
on the
similar,
spot,
3 or
that's
I thought it was
350.
4 or something, that we budgeted
Around.
last year, or 4.
Four.
I think it was lower. I think it started with a 3.
That's true, because they all came, the down.
Because we had to cut it.
Bids came in at 4.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and then we went back out and
Right.
landed in 3 something, right? That's what
Did you mean for this year?
Yeah, for 2025.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you meant I thought you meant, no, for this year. Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
we had to rebid, and because we had the project that we finished on Noble Road, the part of the borough, that we had to
Yes,
finish the sidewalks and the
I'm
part.
so happy about
of-
it driving every morning.
exactly.
So we had Noble Road, that was 18,000 that we needed to contribute to that, and then we ended up with it was around 380, I believe.
Okay,
Okay.
so about
just an
400 in
estimate,
total.
Yeah.
Okay, and we had cut that a little bit last year as well.
Yes,
I think we probably started in the same spot, 500, and we cut it down to
I
400.
believe so,
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's an option that we've done, and we
Mhm.
could do again.
right?
Or we have to look at raising revenues in another way. We have several options there for us, and I think where the finance committee has this now is we want to kind of get the temperature of the rest of council
Sure.
on what the preferred options here are, so that we can finalize a draft budget between now and next week, because
Right.
next week we need to vote
We need to
publish
vote to
a
advertise.
balanced budget,
Right.
rebalanced budgets.
Right,
So that's really the discussion for tonight, is what are folks feeling on how we balance these? So maybe you can go through the numbers of where could we increase revenues on some
Sure,
of the
so-
fees?
now for 2025, we did raise the sewer bill $2. It had been 9 years that it hadn't been raised. Since 2015, it's remained 52. So it was bumped up for 2025. Every dollar that the sewer is raised, would provide a right around 30,000, a little over $30,000. So that's one option. And these are, what I'm presenting are options that council has that's in our control, that what we're able to do to balance the budget, just so you understand that. The other is, as I understand, I was not a part of this, but when the trash contract happened and we had a town hall meeting and residents did voice their opinion that they wanted to keep the garbage in the taxes and also just have a garbage fee on top of that, which is $16 a month is where we started with this. I was under the understanding that could possibly be raised, the $48 a quarter. That is another option. So each dollar that the sewer, I'm sorry, I apologize. Each dollar that the trash fee is raised will give us around $8,000. So those are two options that I just want to put out there for council to discuss.
And I guess the millage, it's 29.5.
Correct.
And under the borough code, the max we can go is 30.
Right.
So we could raise it another half a
We could.
mil,
That is true.
and that would
Yes.
be 20,000.
That would be, yes, correct.
And then with the fire budget, and that's with the numbers even just the way they were last year, we still have a deficit on that just because of the increase on the insurance costs.
Yes,
And that would be fires 34,000. So we have to come up with 34,000, even though the fire company's not requesting any additional funds.
correct,
And that would be, and with the fire fund, we could raise taxes also, correct?
correct. It can go to 3 at
Now-
that 2.25.
Okay, so that would be a 0.75, so that would be approximately $30,000.
And that, it's just over 30,000 is what the deficit is in the fire fund.
Okay, and unfortunately, we're not expecting any sort of grants or anything like that in the future. There's no sort of windfalls. We're coming in with revenue or.
No, the only possibility of a windfall coming into the sewer account, which I don't know if you can bet on 2026 for sure, but the new apartment building that's gonna be going in, they're gonna have to put in, it's gonna be a 25 unit, so they're gonna have to put in sewer lines, sewer laterals. And the borough charges $900 per lateral. So we can't put that in the budget because nothing is guaranteed.
Exactly, right.
So we can't put it in, but that is something that could be a windfall in the sewer.
And one last question, but the roads, how many roads are we gonna be working on if we kept it the way it is in Clark Summit? Do you know the names?
Yes, it was, let me see if I have that
Actually,
here.
our borough engineer is the one that goes out and.
Yes, he gave me, I must have it on my desk. I apologize. I must have it on my desk. Okay, so he gave me an estimate. They talked about, we have to finish Clark, which is, it was just under 300,000 that we need to finish Clark. So that's a necessity. We talked about, they put on the paving list, part of Highland Avenue. And that was also on there, but we do have Howell Avenue that we do need to do, the stormwater and pave. So we have a few roads that we're gonna need to, if council decides to drop the paving budget, we'll have to see what could be worked out there.
Sure.
So right now, but if, just based on the budget right now, it'd be finish Clark, part of Highland and Powell.
Yes,
And I know because paving has become much more expensive.
Oh, it has.
than in
You're
the years
right.
past.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
sure.
So
Yep.
that it'd just be 3 roads we'd be able to work on.
Mhm.
in all Clark Summit.
correct.
But if we raised none of the things we talked about and simply cut our paving, we'd probably be down to just Clark and maybe.
Right, correct.
Powell would go up. a little bit.
Well, if we're gonna be around 350, I know Clark was around 300. So,
And you're saying Clark's, we have to do, we have to.
We
finish
do.
it, We have to
Yeah.
finish that. That's not.
correct. Yep, we have to finish that,
Work in progress there.
right?
I know in, 2019, that's when we did, our fire is a separate, avenue in our tax base. And we raised it a quarter, and that money went into the funding for our fire department. Would we be able to redo this and put it in to cover our deficit with that then, or? I
think you said we could raise that to
Raising it
3. We could raise
We
that to 3.
can, we can go to 3 for the fire fund.
But, I'm just thinking, to offset that deficit if we could, if that would be an option.
We do, we can raise it to 3.
So I'd love to hear opinions from other members of council as to, what your preferences would be, and quite frankly, anyone in the audience that are paying these taxes and these fees.
Why don't you just raise property tax?
But we can't really do that. That would not close our budget, our.
I don't pay it, so I would know.
That's where we only have $500,000 that we could raise.
Yeah.
Which would not close our deficit.
The real question is, how did it get this bad?
Costs are going up. That's the bottom line.
They don't gonna keep going up.
Not just for Clark Summit Borough, but for everyone.
Yeah.
This is an annual challenge. This will not go
Yes, it
away.
is.
Healthcare costs as well in the
Oh,
police and DPW contracts are big.
I don't think healthcare either, so I wouldn't know either.
And Steve is exactly right. That's one of the biggest ones for this
Yeah.
year. I'm trying to find it, but in 2025, we budgeted for $587,000 for health and medical. That's up to $672,000 for 2026. So that alone
Right,
is
that's
more than accounts for the deficit that we have. But there's not, we don't have a lot of control over those costs. They are what they are.
For anyone in the audience, if you care enough to come to meetings, I actually have copies of the draft budget if you would like to take a look at it. I can bring that over to you.
We have, Sue Grady is here tonight. Sue is, yeah,
So great.
we'd like to. She can participate in any way she wants.
One of the other big ones that in particular impacts our fire fund is we did have a pretty significant increase in our workers' comp. So I think that amounts to $30,000 in our general fund, another $20,000 in the fire fund. It's not all of the deficit in the fire fund, but that is another one of the big changes from 2025.
Yes, it is.
Everything else is more incremental. They're just,
Last year, didn't we discuss the leaf pickup options? I don't know.
I was gonna bring up the leaf
Is
pickup.
that
What is the
anything-
overtime on leaf pickup cost?
I'd have to find out. I know that our DPW will do, longer days, so I can find that out.
but the total, if you look at class 400.185 in your budget, the total that we budget for overtime in our DPW was $32,000 in 2025. And actually, we're doing well in that regard in 25. So we are budgeting for that to actually go down a little bit in 26. So that's primarily, correct me if I'm wrong, that's primarily leaf pickup because they do it on weekends.
Correct.
And then plowing. That's
Correct.
where we run into
Correct.
overtime. So
Correct.
that's the total of our overtime budget is about $28,000 for next year.
And we don't wanna touch plowing. Yeah.
And also, Steve, we had
We
a town
can't.
hall meeting. This was, several years back, and if we eliminated our leaf pickup and our brush pickup, and if we took our trash out of our tax base, our taxes would have been way down, below anybody. And at this town hall meeting, the unanimous vote was, we want to keep the services we have.
Right.
If you have to raise the taxes, I believe Jean was at that meeting too. They said, we would rather pay more in taxes just to have these services that are provided by the borough. So that's why we continue to leave it in our base and.
And we do have an increase by contract for our garbage collection this year. That goes up to
Right.
$969.
Which we
To
knew was
$994.
coming, yeah.
That's by contract. And then just one other big one to call out as well. If you look at our sewer fund budget, the sewer authority is increasing their rates to us by, I believe, 11%.
Right,
So that is an increase of $110,000
right.
on the expense side for 2026 over 25. You know, there's nothing we can do about that. That's what they charge to us and all of the municipalities. So
Right.
that is, again, accounting for the deficit
Mhm.
on the sewer side is what we are being passed
Correct.
on
Mhm.
for our sewer.
And also, Jen, our, the borough's, workman's comp fund, we have to pay 30, is that a $30,000 amount increase that we didn't anticipate this year?
Correct.
And that will go on for 5 years, so that, we're gonna have to cover that because we had an employee that went out and, like an automobile accident, we get in an accident.
And you brought up the
Yeah.
trash. I remember, Virginia receiving a lot of calls, I'm correct, people saying they still wanted that.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, those are the big items that we're seeing increases on the expense side.
Yeah,
Again, you know, our main options here are to cut back on paving. Or probably some combination of increasing both the garbage and the sewer rates in order to close these gaps. And so that's where,
I would feel comfortable. Do we-
Paid.
No, that's not what I was
No.
gonna say.
I could just do a combination of both.
I was gonna say.
we can.
A little bit of paving and a little bit of the taxes. That way, you know, you want to get the roads done. I'm guessing you're talking about that road up there that they've been working on for like 2 months. With the sewer or this gap or this, I think it's the road up there, right?
would you like to take the podium and, you could address us, just let us know what your name is and.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I think he's referring to South Abington
Yeah,
Road,
was
which
that the one
is,
that's been,
which is South Abington.
That's
Well,
Clark Ave is, runs parallel to Highland Ave.
Okay.
Over,
Over
I have to
by,
think about where's the road here. So
yeah.
over here.
Over there.
Okay, that one.
Yeah,
I mean, what is the engineer's feeling on Powell Ave if we had to wait another year for that? Do you know?
Do Clark,
It's-
forget about.
It's a possibility. It's not,
right,
it's not set in stone as Clark is.
exactly, that.
I'd
That
say-
has to get finished, so
I'd
that,
say do Clark, and we may have to look at a couple other things, but just Clark to pave.
And if we do that, we wouldn't have to increase the sewer and the trash.
We'd have to carve $150,000 out of the two budgets in total. So yes, if we basically just committed to doing Clark, that would allow us to balance without any increases to fees.
You said the other one was Highland. I go up that a lot. Is that really bad condition? or-
well, this was before we even discussed Powell Avenue. So just so you know, that's been just kind of in the works for a while. There's been a lot of issues with utilities on that road, and finally things got
Exactly.
ironed out. So that's why I mentioned Powell Avenue, because it's been discussed, you know, with the DPW, we've discussed what needs to, you know, priorities. So
Right,
they did have
exactly,
Highland
yeah.
just as the next street that they
Okay.
considered.
The direction everyone feels, the majority feels comfortable going in to vote next week is that we just do Clark.
Well, and to be clear, you know, what we would do is, we're not gonna specify in the budget which roads, but we would trim. If this is where folks are going here, we would trim $75,000 out of the paving expense line in the sewer fund and another 75,000 in the general fund.
Mhm.
That's where the total would come out. And so our eyes wide open about what does that mean, is that we're gonna likely just go to bid for Clark and maybe Highland.
And I'm comfortable with that because we don't know what the next year is gonna bring. Everyone's
Exactly.
expenses are definitely gonna go up from what we're reading and hearing, so.
I'm comfortable with that.
I am too. Josh, you think that's the best course right now? Of all the options, I feel like that seems to be.
I mean, I hate to see us continue to defer maintenance on our roads because we do have roads that are getting behind. And we can't keep doing that forever.
Right, it's a Band-Aid.
But it's an option for balancing this year.
Right.
I'm okay with that option.
So am I. I'm good with that too.
And I really do feel that our income is going to increase. As far as, once this assessment, the reassessment is completed and everything, I think we will come out.
We'll have to see what that brings.
That's the
We're just
big.
in the holding
big
pattern, right?
road. Yeah, yeah,
We just have to operate on what's happening now. But
right.
yeah, it'll.
Well, I think we could probably, I mean, we can certainly draft a budget that way, and if,
Okay.
you know, if anybody feels differently that they would rather see us keep that at 500, you know, we certainly could draft a budget that also has the increase, and that allows us to make motions and vote on these things. If somebody feels strongly that they would rather see us increase fees, that can play out that way, that we can consider two different budgets. I don't know what options we have on the fire side though, other than increasing millage. Are there any
Neither.
options there?
Not that I'm aware of, except millage.
What about if we make any cuts to the general fund and then transfer money over to the fire department for the general fund?
The only cut would have to be for paving, I believe, because we have all the numbers as tight as we can.
Well, not, I mean, we could take a look at it with a sharp fine tooth comb. I'm sure there's other things we could find.
Like what?
I think the savings from the park, since there's no increase, is probably about $1,000. It's small,
Yeah.
but it's something.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think the point is well taken that, you know, if, I think actually in total, it's about 145,000 that we're trying to close. So if we cut 150 out of paving, we save $1,000 in foregone increases from the park. Now we're looking at having to find 25 in total to close.
Right.
Maybe we can do that. And quite frankly, you know, everybody should take this budget home, look at it, and if you see a line item that you think we can cut, the finance committee is gonna meet again on Friday, so please give us that, and that includes anybody out in the audience that has a copy of the budget. You know, give us that feedback. We're not trying to make these decisions in a silo.
And I think the fire services is very much a priority. That's something we need to take care of. And there may be things that are less important than fire services in the budget. So if people want to take a look at that and come back to the finance committee and let us know if you have any opinions, we can look at that on Friday.
Please do, please do.
Okay.
And then we're voting next week, Jen, correct? Okay.
Correct.
We have to vote next week to publish our budgets, to advertise our budgets, so that we can then vote on them in December. We don't have a choice on that from that time.
I think we basically have it nailed down exactly what direction we want to go with it, and we definitely should have to vote next week, so.
We'll vote to advertise it. We'll vote to approve it in December, if we come up with them.
Exactly, yeah,
I think we can always modify them in minor way, right?
Absolutely,
sure.
absolutely. If you see something that, I mean, we've gone through a lot, but if there's anything that anybody sees, please let me know. We'll look into it and see what we can do.
This would be a long shot, but the two contracts, the DPW and the police contracts, any possibility of going to the unions and asking them to restructure and let them know what see if we can do something about the healthcare?
Or overtime for that matter. Overtime has always been a big issue for us. But I don't know if that's something we can get done in the next week, though. That might be maybe next year's budget.
Yeah.
What does the overtime have to do with the part-time?
Unfortunately, under the
Issues.
police contract, we don't have any control over overtime. It's that the police choose how much they need to work. Which is, in some ways nice, but unfortunately, we don't have a lot of control on the costs. So how they schedule it and how they structure it, if they need two police officers or three police officers, whatever police officers they think that's necessary, that's the way it is.
Yeah, they
We
need
don't
the
have it.
coverage though, they need the coverage.
We don't have any say in that.
Right.
And that's something we were talking with them about trying to work out, but we did not agree to that.
Yeah. These are things, you know, again, we're gonna have collective bargaining agreements coming up again 2 years from now, actually.
Sure.
So these are things that, you know, if we can kind of tighten our belts as best as possible here for 2026, we're gonna have to do it again for 2027. Our next opportunity to make those kinds of real foundational changes will be in the CBA for 2028. You can all see why we need to accomplish that in 2028, because we can't keep deferring maintenance on roads forever as a way to balance our budget.
Exactly,
Right.
And unfortunately, our capital reserves are now down to 80,000 after this year, so we won't be able to hit our savings account again in the future.
I think we have the feedback we need then to work on these in Friday.
What about if Jerry sells her chili in front of the building? Would that help Jerry?
Just might do the
Every
trick.
dollar helps.
That could do a lot.
I saw the Chicken Little Soup at the Ice Festival and that went over big.
Yes.
God, I think I did 20 gallons of chicken, 5 gallon.
She sold out.
And sold out.
Save us, Jerry.
So,
Yeah, cook it.
maybe we're gonna have to do some fundraising, Jen.
Well, thank you for all your hard work on this, guys.
Oh. We'll just keep chipping away at it till we get it. You know, and working together gets it done.
Just on our agenda then for next week, I think we're done on the budget discussion, yes?
Yeah.
On our agenda for next week, Jen, I noticed that you've got CDBG pavilion funding vote. Have you heard anything back from
I
Joe
did.
Levinsky and the
I
county?
did, and I did not forward it to you. I will.
Okay.
I'll forward that to you. I do not believe that there's gonna be anything for next month. So that's we'll take that off.
So that'll come.
But I will send you that email.
So the next thing that would be on our agenda
Mhm.
is once all of the approvals are in place,
Mhm.
we would end up with a resolution
Right,
permitting the county to go out to bid
correct,
for that approved project.
correct,
And the county does not yet have all of those approvals
correct.
ready for us.
Yep. You are correct on that. Absolutely. He had a better timeline. And I'll let you know what that is. But in the email.
Also, Jen, you got that email from Leo Russo and
Yes.
Brian Langen
Yes.
from Congressman Bresnahan's
Mhm.
office. So I think Mr. Russo is going to be coming to the next meeting.
Okay,
So maybe we could put him on the agenda. He wants to talk to us. I know they reached out to us in the past.
right. I
About
remember it's
trying
been a
to-
while trying to get coordinated.
So maybe they can help us with some funding going forward.
Okay,
So,
would you like me to put him on
yeah,
the top of the agenda?
yeah, you can put him on the agenda. I don't know. I hope, he said he was going to try to make it. So
Okay.
we'll see if he can make it.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there any other issues that council would want to put on our agenda for next week?
The only other thing on the agenda, just to point out, is the OLP SRO. There's a
Right.
contract that I revised today that we're gonna send out to council. I believe the chief is looking to start that this year. I have to confirm with him.
Sure.
So that'll be sent out for having SRO at OLP. They drafted the initial contract. I made some revisions when I discussed it with Chief Yarns. But I believe he would like the council to vote on that for next week, so that OLP can have that SRO for the remainder of the school year.
And just for the rest of the council, the finance committee met with a gentleman from the diocese and Mrs. Di Lorenzi, who's the principal of Our Lady of Peace, along with Chief Yarns. With a lot of the violence at that school in Minnesota and at I believe, the church there, they want to have a school resource officer there. Initially, they were looking to have like a full-time police officer there, but that's really not feasible financially for us. or
And
for
they
them.
understood that too.
But we were talking, Chief Yarn said we might be able to do a part-time police officer there. And I think he has some people who are interested in being part-time police officers, could be SRO officers there. And I'm not sure, we'll find out more about that, but that's what the contract is. It's part-time, right?
It's a part-time officer and
Right.
it's reimbursed from the diocese are all paid.
And it's as available, correct?
As
That was one of our
available.
concerns.
Yes, that was,
We can't commit to having the part-timers
correct.
available enough to do it.
Right, and that was an addendum that I had made
Okay.
to make sure that it was as available, and if we are unable to get one, that they don't have that SRO for that day or that week, whatever it may be.
And they're also willing to pay a $30 an hour.
So it won't cost the borough anything out of their pocket.
Correct.
The sentiment from the meeting we had that day, the discussion was, I think they're more than willing to get someone as soon as possible, whatever we can provide,
Sure.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And I do have to say they were extremely complimentary to our police department because we park a vehicle up there in the parking lot, which is a deterrent when anybody, if they were gonna enter the school, you know. It's an unfortunate situation, but they have to protect the students and I understand where they're coming from, so.
And Chief Jarman is optimistic and wants to do this,
Sure.
but he wants flexibility because he understands.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
as long as he's, they're not expecting an officer all the time. he can do that.
Exactly. Willing to work with us either way on this, so that there's no pressure on either end. Thank you. Roger.
So we're going to adjourn?
No, we don't have to ask the closed session, right?
Okay, great. So we can just wrap this up.
All right. You done, you want the-
Wrap it up.
Thank
I haven't
you.
been the email anyway, so.
Very good.
15 minutes,
Yes,
is bad.
Yeah, that's good. And anything under an hour is always.
Well, I'll make that change and go back to everyone.
So tell, did they call each other about the shirt, like, who we left the house, like, yeah.
Fire protection agreement.
Check with them.
And also, we didn't go over it, are we going?
I do work.
Police car?
Pretty nice thing, like.
For the police car.
Okay. Fire protection.
They do some work for you?
No.
It's on there.
Thanks.
I think that's important.
How you're a little guy doing? Getting close to one?
One.
I'll have to ask.
Goodbye. So 3 on the line.
Tell me about it, yeah, because he's not walking.
Josh.
Oh, he's gonna be a good athlete, so he's gonna get the rugby ball in his hand. Oh, man.
About 10:30 Friday. It's good.
We'll see you then.
10:30 Friday.
Have a good night.
Have a good one. Okay, let's do 10:30.
Okay.
Perfect.
Live here.
I was thinking.
Oh, this is the response. I thought you.
Yeah, I do.
Well, that always comes up.
So this is the response. I did an activity working on.